Good morning, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 525, 528. I'm sorry, the two dumb yinzers. Welcome back. Good morning, gentlemen. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here. I'm just ready to go.
How's Derpy doing?
I don't know, Derpy. Are you here, bud?
The thing
Uh,
about Derpy, he was I sent him the link earlier to get on the
yeah.
show and get things rolling. And he I don't know, about 3 minutes before I got on, he's texting me. He's like, dude, the link ain't working. Could you send me the meeting ID? And
He was literally in here.
so I'm shuffling around. I'm trying to find everything. I'm trying to find all the stuff that he needs and get it over to him. And as I'm trying to get ready, and finally I send the meeting ID over, and he texted me back. He's like, "Oh, I got it." So now I don't know where he's at. Now he's
I'm here.
Okay, there he is. This guy.
uh
This guy right here. You
mm,
are a
Yep.
wild card, Derpy. You
there,
are just we never know what's going on
yeah,
with you over on that side.
he's always on his own plane.
He is. Derpy does his own thing. He's probably in the middle of recording like three other shows right now. Oh my god, I
Totally.
spelled LSU wrong. Eh,
You know, this April Fool's Day, I'm glad it's over. What the, what's the deal with all these the transactions between the Steelers and other teams? And
Okay, there
yesterday
we
uh,
go.
yesterday on the internet we were getting Juju Smith-Schuster, we were getting Justin Jefferson, we were getting this guy. I'm so through with April Fool's Day. It's not even funny.
yeah, it was funny some of the stuff that's coming up there, but it's like at the same time, all right, guys, the joke has been played out for years now. Can we try something different?
And then it goes on all day, and it's all
Yeah.
different people, and then it's all
Hmm.
different players, and it's all different. I thought, oh, this is so annoying.
Yeah. It was like funny when Twitter first started. Now it's so played out. Can we just like
I don't
find
even see
something
how that
different?
was ever funny. That it's just downright annoying. What's funny
Yeah.
about that? Can you explain? If you can explain to it to me and make it
Yeah.
funny, I will believe you
'Cause, well,
100%.
when it first Twitter came out, everyone was using it as a news source. So it was kind of funny. People were like, oh my God, we got this guy. Oh, now April Fool's. Oh, okay. Now it's passe. It's been
It's
done.
just
I don't
annoying.
find it
It's
funny.
really
It's
annoying.
annoying now, especially now, like when you're going through just like the feed and you're getting stuff from yesterday and it's still popping up. You're like, oh my God.
I'm constantly trying to obtain information for the show
Yep.
and
Same
gather
here. Yep.
gather stuff, and all day long it's all these big time trades are happening. So I just have after a while I just realize none of these are real. Nothing is. I hope nothing happens on April Fool's Day, because if it does, I'm sure not going to
Oh,
get
if
it.
it does, we're screwed.
But how annoying! I'm so over that. I'm so through. I'm glad we have a whole nother year till we have to deal with April Fool's Day again. Ugh. Um, Other big news. Mike's got an upset stomach today, so
Oh,
I,
that's
I,
an that's an understatement. This is like the second time in 2 months this has happened. I don't like
I
this.
yeah. So if you have to run off to the bathroom, that's fine. But you better believe I'm going to keep a count and have an official
Oh,
count of
oh,
your
I you know
the
what
shit count.
we're at three at pre-show. Okay.
Yeah,
It was rough. I like there should be nothing left in my
I
system.
think it's very important to people know how many
I
times
think
they
it
get.
is too. I think all the water that is in my system has been flushed out.
Huh?
This is just
You think you're getting sick? Maybe you ate something. What do you think it
I think
is?
I'm getting sick. I Yesterday I was starting to feel really run down, like the congestion. I've had this cough that won't go away, but I got I got the congestion back.
You think you're
Then
gonna
the
shit?
body aches. I took NyQuil last night. I woke up just feeling dead. Took some Dayquil. Took a nap before the show. Woke up, was feeling good. Made some coffee. Had a bagel. Had some ham left over from Easter, and then all of a sudden my body was just like, nope, nope.
Next hour?
I should be good. I took some Imodium after the very first one. I popped two Imodium, and I think what was in there just emptied out of the system. I should be good for the rest of the day.
All right. Well,
You
if
know.
you do, just go shit, and I'll keep count. And as I said,
Okay.
this I think this is important for
I
people to
can set up
know.
a graphic for like every time that I go.
Yeah, yeah, do that if you can, with like a little count on it,
Yeah, if I run, I'm
like
not
how they
counting
do
the
in
pre-show.
prisons. Like when people are locked away for years,
Yeah,
they put the lines. I want to do that. Put that up.
yeah, yeah. Well, if I go during the show, I will. I'm not counting the pre-shows.
Bucks and pucks, everybody. The Pittsburgh Pirates and the Pittsburgh Penguins get the win again.
Yes.
When these two teams play on the same day, they're tough guys. There's barely nobody beats them. They play on the same day. They win. Pittsburgh Pirates back at it yesterday. They head up to Washington to start a new series, and the Pirates managed to win again, 8-4. They're now 5-0, guys. This is the first 5-0 start for the Pirates since 1983, and we're still one of the four teams in the majors that have an undefeated record at 5 games in. Again, there's 162. I understand it's a long time, but you know what? For the Pirates, this is a very exciting thing, and for the
Yeah.
fans, it's even more exciting. The Yankees right now are 5-0, the Tigers are 4-0, and the Brewers are still at 3-0. So the Pirates guys, I listen. I understand they're not playing great teams, and when they do start playing Baltimore, and when they get home after Baltimore, they got Detroit coming to town. We're gonna start seeing some tough teams that are gonna start giving us a game, and we're not gonna sweep through every series. But you know what? Right now, while it's active, while it's fun, let's enjoy it. We got the day off today. We're gonna finish the series tomorrow, and the next day we have Mitch Keller back at the top of the rotation tomorrow, and we're finally facing a right-handed pitcher. This is going to be the first game all season we faced a right-handed starting pitcher. This will be the first time, guys. I like the way the rest of this series looks. Again, of course, Mitch Keller, and then Perez will finish it up. And then when they come home to play Baltimore on Friday in the home opener, you get Jared Jones. So we get to see his stuff a little bit on Friday. But I don't like what goes on after that on Saturday. You're going to have Bailey Falter on the hill against the Baltimore Orioles. I think that's going to be a disaster. Hopefully, if we can make it that long and don't lose, then who cares? I'll take that loss after that period of time. We could come home and be 7-0, even 6-1. I'll take it, and then maybe win that first game of the series with the Orioles. Then you know what? I could take a Bailey Falter loss. But until that point, Bailey Falter is the Achilles heel. He is the weakest link in this
Yeah.
rotation.
Big time.
I think it's hard to say what Jared Jones is going to do. He had an extremely successful first outing with the 10 strikeouts against the Marlins in the first series of the season. Who knows if that's going to continue? Who knows? We're going to watch that play out. But you know what? It's a lot better than what I've seen from Falter.
Oh, anything's better than him.
And then Perez and Gonzalez, they basically pitched the same kind of game. I thought the same for both of those guys. And then Mitch Keller, you're getting your ace. You hope to get decent outings, pretty regularly. So if we could finish up against the Nationals at least 6-1, win the series, win 2 series going into the first home series of the season against the Orioles, I think we're going to be in good shape. We did start 20-8 last season.
Yeah, somewhere like 28, 21-8, somewhere in that range.
Good morning, Brian on the board. He's saying right now the Pirates may start the season 28-0. That's very unlikely, but and I know that he's messing with us. But the thing is, guys, I think they potentially do have a chance to start as good or better than they did last year when they did start 20-8. I don't see why not. Last year at this time, the Pirates were 2-2 after their first 4 games, and this year's Pittsburgh Pirates were 4-0 after 4 games, and now 5-0, of course. So, guys, it's going to be interesting. I think this may be a good team. Don't go by me. Of course, my favorite baseball team has been terrible my whole life. So, I'm not qualified to make this call, but I think that this is a good team. I think that they're talented. I look at the lineup from top to bottom. Everybody seems like they can hit the ball. The rotation seems like they're good. The bullpen seems like they're really good. With Contreras came in yesterday, made me lose my mind, but
yeah,
with the exception of the Contreras outing yesterday, the bullpen's been sturdy all
yeah.
season. So
who was the guy that was pitching right before Chapman came in? I forget his name. He got the save the night before. Jones?
Ryder Ryan.
Ryder Ryan. He has some nasty stuff.
Him, Stratton. They have a really nice bullpen.
Yep.
I like the way they look this year. But again, it's only 5 games in. Derpy, how many do they play?
Derpy.
See, I think he sneaks away. I don't know what he does. I think we're gonna start putting a camera on him. Even if it's not on air, I have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
I don't know what he's up to from
from
minute to minute. Because one time he runs in, and he's like, "I'm here," and then the next time he's gone.
He's an enigma.
162.
There we go. 5 hours
He
later.
must be listening to the game in the other room or the show in the other room. And he's like, "Oh shit, they need
No,
me." He runs in. What's going on over there? What are you doing, Derpy?
I told you I'm on doing this through my Xbox and it's glitching.
Okay. The guys that got 2 hits yesterday in the game were Connor Joe, Brian Reynolds, Andrew McCutcheon, Henry Davis, and Aliki Williams. They all got 2 hits, and Michael A. Taylor had 3 hits in the baseball game yesterday. Brian Reynolds had 3 RBIs. I do believe he leads. He leads right now in RBIs in this early part of the season. Um, Brian says Derpy's always on point.
Yeah. He's on Derpy's on top of things,
They
as always.
Marco Gonzalez comes out as a nice outing. He
Mm.
goes 5 innings, guys, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 Ks. The Pirates are back at it tomorrow. Back at it tomorrow at 6:45 against the Nationals, and then 4:05 on Thursday. Then they come home to play Baltimore to start the home series. I can't wait for that, guys. Listen to this. The schedule that they do have coming up. They play Baltimore at home for 3, and then Detroit comes home. Detroit comes here for 2. Then they go to Philadelphia, who's terrible. I think Philadelphia is like 0-4. So they go to Philly for 4. And they go to the Mets for 3, who's pretty bad. They got killed again. They're like 1-3. And then back home to finish the month out for Boston at home, and then Milwaukee at home.
Ooh.
So it's not going to be easy the rest of the way. Certainly, the rest of the way through April, guys. Again, Baltimore this weekend, our first home series. Then Detroit comes in for 2. Then we go to Philly. Then we go to the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
And then back home for Boston and Milwaukee to finish up the month. What do you think?
What just do well against like Baltimore, Milwaukee, Boston, and struggle against Philly and the Mets?
I can see this.
I would be okay with that. I'd rather struggle against those bad teams and beat the good teams. But it would be fitting with like the theme in Pittsburgh for every team. We can't beat the bad teams, but we can always beat the good teams.
Right.
And I like to see. I would be comfortable with that with the Buccos right now doing that.
That would be yes, as you said. I mean, that's kind of a Pittsburgh thing, and
It is a Pittsburgh thing.
Maybe this goes on all over the place, but we just see it more because it's here, and
it's here. Yeah,
it can't possibly only be us. These things,
No, because teams tend to play up and down to their competition.
Right?
It's human nature. You think, I'm gonna this game's gonna be easy. I don't have to give my best effort. It's like when you would take a test. Like, I know this material. I don't need to study. Then you get it. You're like, oh shit, maybe I should have.
You wonder when that mentality is ever going to go away. Because it's always been that way.
Right?
Why
It's
do
always
athletes
been there.
and coaches and things why do they never learn? Why is this something that's always
Hubris.
always been a problem?
No, I'm gonna go with hubris. Just because I like that word.
All right, hubris. I got something for you. The series that we just finished up against Miami. Now they're complaining.
Yeah.
They're complaining that the roof was open. Okay.
What?
Yeah. So all right. So I'm going to read you something. Now, this is from Jazz Chisholm Jr. for the Florida Marlins. We just
Their
played
star
them.
player.
Listen to this. Yeah, this is their star player crying because they got swept by the Pirates. The Miami Marlins are 0-4 after their first series of the season against the Pirates. And center fielder Jazz Chisholm believes the Marlins' open roof contributed to the early struggles. Remind you that the Pirates also played.
Yeah,
in
played in
stadium.
that condition.
Per ESPN, Chisholm said the Marlins struggled against the Pirates relief pitchers because they weren't used to playing under the open roof at Lone Depot Park, talking about the Marlins. Quote, that we couldn't see, Chisholm said. And quote, that's all. I feel like the shadows were we're not used to playing in the shadows. We normally play inside every day. So when we get the shadow for 3 or 4 games at home for the first time of the season, it's kind of hard to adjust to.
You play there all the time.
We play there 3 games a whole year.
Yeah.
And for 2.
What does that any have?
Yeah, go ahead, Derpy.
So what does that have to do with baseball?
Nothing. It's just trying to conjure up excuses because you
Yeah,
stink and you didn't perform well enough to win any games in a 4-game series against the team that's it's traditionally bad.
yeah. And for someone
So
like he's a really good young player too, for him to say something like that, it's
Right.
like, come on, dude. You're a rising star in the league. Come on, you should know better than that.
yeah, so I found this one, and especially how can you even have the nerve to even
Yeah,
to even say this
yeah,
when again there's a team that's there that
yeah,
played very well that plays there
yeah,
literally three
yeah. Like
days
the
out of a whole
yeah.
year.
At least, yeah, I give him credit. At least he didn't throw his own team under the bus. At least he has that going for him. Just say the shadows
Right.
screwed you guys over.
So
Not the terrible pitching, not surrendering multiple run leads.
so
I
the
mean, I got
response,
something.
yeah.
This is a little bit of a mix of March Madness and the
All right.
Pirates.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, obviously you said the fact about 1983 being the last time they went 5-0.
Yeah,
NC State was the last time they won the championship.
There you
Was
go.
83,
they
and they started in Pittsburgh region this year.
everything's lining up
You
for
blame
NC
it on the
State.
Everything's lining up.
blame it on the eclipse.
It's the eclipse causing NC State to run havoc through the attorney in the Buckets to go 5-0.
Well, you know what? If there is anything that says that this is the end of the world, it couldn't be all these other things that people are talking about. It would have to obviously be the Pirates being undefeated, right?
It would too,
Right.
yeah. That would be the one. Like that's what I'm worried about. Like the Buckos keep winning. How soon until the asteroid hits us?
Right. Well, they have the Devil Comet flying around, and I don't know what the Devil Comet is, but um,
We're gonna get a mass gamma ray burst from somewhere in the galaxy that's gonna kill us all because the Buckos are winning. We're beyond the cups of winning a World Series, and then you know the sun's gonna go
Boom.
supernova.
Brian Reynolds responds, if we're such a bad team, responding to them shorthanding the Pirates for coming down and sweeping them in their home stadium. Brian Reynolds says in quote, if we're such a bad team, maybe he should have managed his team a little better and beat us. That's a good point. That's what it always comes down to with me. I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, when people are starting to create their excuses after losing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever their reason is, at the end of the day, you should have just played better, be
Yeah.
better, beat the
And well,
team.
if anyone knows about creating excuses, it is Big Stacks. Was it 2 years ago, Ryan?
Well, he
When
does lead the league in RBI, so I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
stay
I know.
with
Yeah. Hey,
on
he's actually living up to his paycheck for a change, so we'll let him talk a little smack back. I like it.
I do, I don't hesitate to give it to Brian
Yep.
Reynolds when it's due. However, I will respect and honor when
Mm-hmm.
he does well and give that to him as well. I do believe, as I said, I do believe he right now, after 5 games, leads the majors with RBIs, comes out with 2 hits yesterday. But so that's what's going on with the Pirates. They got the day off. They come back tomorrow, game 2. We finally face a right-handed pitcher for the first time this season. We are back at the top of our rotation. I'm sorry, Mitch Keller will be on the hill, and then we get Perez to finish out the series. Then we come home on Friday night to open up the home stand against the Orioles with Jared Jones on the hill. I like
Mm-hmm.
this. I like this, Mike. These next days are looking
Yep.
good. I think your lefties are chomping at the bit to get in the batter's box tomorrow. Sawitsky,
Yep.
also Rowdy. These guys they're ready to get in there, and I can't wait.
Yeah, be nice for Sawinski to get off the schneid. Yeah, he had a couple at bats and do that well. But he's getting the righty matchup, so that's going to be good there. I just checked. Reynolds has 8 ribbies that ties him for third. Reynolds, it ties him for third. Big Stacks tied for third in ribbies. So, like
Okay,
someone
I
else had
think
a couple more. Yeah, it
as
was
the
going
game
into the
ended
game. Yeah,
yesterday, he was leading, but they did play games into the night with
yeah,
all these other
yep,
teams.
yeah. So you
So
weren't
Brian
wrong.
Reynolds looking
Yep.
good so far. Also in the majors last night, speaking around the league, the Houston Astros already throw a no hitter against the Blue Jays
Jeez.
in a 10-0 win.
Did see this.
So I mean, there's teams out there that are a lot worse than we are and a lot worse off. And I like the way we're looking right now. Again, guys, 5-0. What do we have? 157 games left. We'll have Derpy out in the dumpster digging out the World Series tickets before you know it.
Series tickets.
Better get them, Derpy. Buckets are going all the way.
Good morning, P on the board as well. We'll be getting to the NC State and all this stuff here shortly. But no, I agree. This is a lot of odd things going on in sports, all matching up with all
Yes.
the odd things going on in real life. So, yeah, makes you wonder. Uh, Brian on the board, he says, I heard Jones pitched a 76 pitch perfect game in high school. He said he threw 75 straight fastballs, and then the last pitch was a sinker. Hmm. I like him. I like him a lot.
He's a beast. Yeah, like last year, man, he was struggling in the minors, but man, he just turned it on. Love to see it. It's what they need. They need, this guy was what, a second round draft pick. It's nice to see him come around. Then you got Skeen's first round pick, number one overall, ready to
I
come up
gotta
too.
tell you,
Nice little rotation
I think that
for
Skeens would
him.
be more successful than Bailey Falter at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I'd
know what I
rather
mean?
I'd rather
What's the
have
logic?
Skeens fail than falter. Just be his
Fail
typical self.
miserably. You're right.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't get it. I mean, they're saying, well, he's not ready. He's not ready. Well, your starting pitcher in the rotation isn't ready.
exactly.
I,
And Skeens has that personality where failure does not look like it's
right.
going to, diminish his confidence. Where that failure is going to actually fuel that fire. Like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'd rather him up here and struggle and fight through it, or come up and just dominate from the beginning and build the confidence that way. He just has that personality of he's not
He's a
going to
beast.
succeed. Yeah,
You're right.
where he's not going to. Failure's not an option for this guy.
I mean, you see what Aroldis Chapman at 36 years old comes in and does
Yeah,
in a third of an inning with the speed with
yeah,
what he has. Imagine having your starter do this.
yeah.
This it can't be a bad thing.
No,
And as I said, you bring Bailey Falter over from Philadelphia, who's 0-7
yeah,
last year, finishes 2-9. In some reason, you justify this and put him in your starting rotation. I just
yeah,
I can't, Mike. I can't
yeah.
figure it out.
If we had a couple pitchers better than Bailey Falter, I would be more comfortable. Okay, letting Skeens go down to the minors for a month or two. But no, not with the pitching staff we have now. There's open spots for him. There's at least two spots that he could fill one of those roles, and he should be there right now. I don't care that he's a rookie, he just came out of college. Other teams have done this before, taking guys, let them do their after the draft, how they go down in the minors work, and then that next year, boom, they're up in the pros, and they can be lights out. Do it with him. He
And
has
they have
that
such
ability. He has that mentality. Let him
the
be that guy.
mindset that this team has, Mike. I heard somebody say this, and they said maybe they're keeping Skeens for a postseason run. And if that isn't the Pirates mindset in a nutshell,
Yeah,
like we usually don't make the playoffs.
yeah.
That makes sense for the Pirates. Let's keep them for a playoff run,
And that might not happen.
and that might not even happen. You know
Well,
what
yeah, they would. That would be their excuse. We're going to keep him for a playoff run, but we don't want to waste his. Let him pitch too much. We're going to waste arm fatigue because his first time pitching these many games. I'd rather have him pitch 3 to 4 innings in the pros than 3 to 4 innings down in Indianapolis.
right.
Use them up here. So, and if you have to shut them down because you have them on a pinch, innings count
And guys
throughout
like
the year,
this,
I'd
Mike,
rather have them in the pros to help the team be
guys
successful.
like this who are generational talents, they don't take the same process that it takes an
Yes.
average
Yeah.
player to work their way
Yeah.
to the pros. They're just freaks of nature.
Uh
Give
huh.
them a little bit of time down there, but you got to bring this guy, especially
Yeah.
again when you think the guy that's 0-7 that came here last year from
Mm-hmm.
Philly is the guy that belongs in there,
Yeah.
and Paul Skeens is it. Those are some of the things as we talk about Derby. Remember, I told you one time it's tough to be a Pirate because you're not only
Yes.
fighting the competition of the game, and it's a hard game on a pro level, but you're also fighting the Pirates as an
Right.
organization.
Organization. Yeah.
And you kind of see this in a situation where and listen, if it all plays out that way, then fantastic. If they hold him back and let him go closer to the halfway point and he gets the pitch and we get a postseason, okay. But again, if you're the Pirates, you can't bank on that happening. That's we're generally not a good base, but that's like the Arizona Cardinals making decisions because they want to worry about their Super Bowl run, or like the Browns. It's very comparable because the Browns are very similar to the Pirates in the sense that they're just a bad organization and they always stink. That's like the Browns making these decisions because they believe they're going to be in the Super Bowl, like they did for 3 or 4 years there, and look how that plays out. So again, you got to. It's tough. It's tough for the Pirates because they have to beat the Pirates,
Yeah,
and then you got to beat the team that's in front of you, and it's. So I like to see them up, and they'll probably shut them down too. It's going to be whatever happens is going to be a disaster. You know it.
it will be.
They'll bring
It,
him up at the wrong time, and then
mhm.
they'll shut him down, and then they'll make the playoffs, and then he won't even see the mound in the play.
Yep.
It's good.
It's
It's
not,
going to
something
happen.
weird's going to happen to where they're so far out of contention. They're like, you know what? We're just going to shut him down since we don't want him playing meaningless baseball. We don't want him to get hurt in meaningless baseball. And they're going to find a way to keep him down in the minors for contract control issues. It's what they do. And if they prove us wrong and they call him up at the right time, you know what? I'll be, I'll we'll recognize them for finally doing something right. But until they do it, I'm hedging my bets that the worst is going to happen.
Luis
They're just
Ortiz
going to keep him down.
had moderate success last year. He made a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of spot starts. He made a bunch of regular starts, and he had moderate success with the Pirates. Yet Bailey Falter wins the
Yeah,
position. It boggles my mind. There was no indication that Bailey Falter was going to be successful coming into
no,
this.
none whatsoever. And like you said, why is he even on the major league roster? He feels no role, no purpose. Oh, he's the lefty. We need a lefty. You should be able to find someone better than Bailey Falter.
And we have quite a few lefties in the rotation. The guy yesterday, he's left-handed.
Yeah.
Marco Gonzalez.
Yeah, so you don't need him. Or if you want another lefty, use one of your bullpen guys occasionally. Let them pitch 3 innings
It's almost like they have
or
no
something.
idea. Almost like they have
Uh,
no idea what they're doing.
no, it doesn't. That's Pirate baseball in a nutshell. They don't know what they're doing. They succeed, in spite of the front office. I'm trusting the guys that they're putting out there, but I don't trust the manager, and I don't trust the GM, and I don't trust the owner. I finally trust the players that they have out there. It's just like you said, everything else around them that they have to beat, plus the opponents.
Let me ask you this: the Pirates are 5-0. They play two more against the Nationals, then they come home for three against the Orioles on Sunday. They're going to be 10 games into this season, Mike. They're
Mm-hmm.
5-0. They have 5 games left before that happens. What do you think this baseball team's record is going to be? It's Sunday night when you're laying your head down. What are your battling Buccos going to be? They're 5-0 right now. They play the Nationals two more on the road, then they come home for Baltimore and for three. What is this team's record on Sunday night?
7-3.
You got 7-3,
I got 7-3, and I think that's very respectable. It'll be
and
damn
that is
good.
respectable.
That's a damn good actually. First 10 games.
And it really is. It really is. It all depends. You know what? It all depends what goes on in these next couple games
Mm-hmm.
against the Nationals. Again, we have the top of our lineup, our rotation. I like that. I like the fact that our lefties are finally going to get in there and just get the chance to hit the ball. I like that. So, if they could sweep, and I don't know if they will, but if they could sweep this series and come home at 7-0,
I
what
would.
if,
Ooh, I'd love that.
what if they come home at 7-0, Mike?
They come in at 7-0 after the 10 games. They might be 9-1, 8-2.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Unless there's a total meltdown. But if you're watching any of these games, you could tell that they're not a bad team. They
no,
have those couple pieces that they were missing last year.
yeah,
O'Neal Cruz was a huge, 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 huge piece. They made a couple signings. I think the Michael A. Taylor for the outfield was a big signing. So those few little areas that they lacked last year, they're looking better. And I got to
yeah.
tell you, the guys like Connor Joe is just red
Oh
hot
my
right now.
God. Yeah, I have their stats up right
Williams
now.
and
Connor Joe, like what? Yeah, four
four
doubles
doubles
already on
already.
the year. It's insane. Five ribbies. He's batting 348.
You're a utility
444
guy.
on
You
base
have
percent.
four doubles in
Yeah,
4 games, five
yeah.
games.
And the team only has 4 home runs, so they're playing like
They're
when they
winning
come,
they're
they're
winning every
winning.
kind of way, Mike.
Yeah, they're playing station to station baseball.
They were
In
they
their
were
comebacks,
they
it's just
other
good
the other day
baseball.
they had a win. They used small ball. They won. The
Yep.
other day they had to come back. They played 2 games in extra innings. They
Yeah.
found ways to win. Again, I'm starting to feel again. I was optimistic going into,
Yeah.
but I'm starting to feel good about this. You always, of course, have to watch for injuries. You just never know. when
Yeah.
an injury is going to come
That's
along, that's the wild card in this whole thing. But
yeah.
you know what?
That
As things look right now, could be a lot worse.
could be a lot worse, but that's the thing right there, the injuries, because they don't have the depth. If they lose one of their starters, one of their key guys, they don't have the depth to plug and play for a while. So like they lose O'Neal Cruz for a big stretch, Brian Hayes for a big stretch.
Yeah, they
That would
can't
be
afford to
killer. They
lose
can't
these
have
guys.
that.
But again, Mike, we got to say the Blue Jays did get no hitted in a 10-0 loss yesterday. So, you know, we could be on that side of the track and we're not.
We've been on that side of track too long. Too
Let's
long.
skate over to the ice, Mike, for the second part of the Bucks and Pucks sweep yesterday. A clean Pittsburgh sweep. The Penguins back at it. They traveled up to New York to play the Rangers. Penguins go up and dominate, Mike, 5-2. They win this game against a team that's 50, 21 and
Yeah.
4. The Penguins are 33, 30 and 11. Rangers are first in the Metro. Crosby gets 2 goals. Russ gets 2 goals. Bemstrom gets a goal. Mike, explain to me how this keeps happening with the Penguins and the teams that they shouldn't beat, and opposed to the Penguins versus teams they should beat, and how this is playing out.
Like I mentioned earlier, it's the Pittsburgh way. You beat the teams you should not beat. You lose the teams you lose to the teams you shouldn't lose to. It's just the way it is. I have no explanation for this team. The way they collapsed against Columbus the game before, I thought, okay, they might not win the rest of the season. Then they come out and play this dominant. I don't get it. I do not get what is going on with this team. One night they look like a playoff team. The next night they look like a team that should be drafting inside the top 10. I can't explain it. I literally cannot. You
It's
read
all
articles from every hockey writer. They can't figure it out either. What's going on with this team?
it's always nice to play the Rangers, Mike, because Sidney Crosby is the only active player with 100 plus points against 3 franchises:
Yep.
the Rangers, the Islanders, and the Flyers. So,
It's
you
always
know,
nice.
it's always nice when you get one of these interdivision teams because you
Mm-hmm.
know that we have a shot. Because of course Crosby finds a way to score all the time, and also
Yeah.
Crosby achieves another goal last night by tying
Yep.
Wayne Gretzky. Guys, he's the only player that has ever
Let's go.
able to do this. Crosby ties Wayne Gretzky's record of 19 seasons with at least 1 goal per game
Point per game.
on average. So, you know, that's pretty awesome for Crosby. You know, he's how many 19 seasons, you know, how many more seasons does the guy have? He's made
Right.
it to this point. So, you know, he's going to finish
He's
with this or something similar to this as he rounds out his career. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's just Sidney Crosby being Sidney Crosby, right, Mike?
exactly like we're just like kind of like numb to it. Like we expect it. Like if he
Right.
doesn't do something like this, it's like, oh, he didn't do that. So that's just how you know you're such a dominant player. It's such a great player where the fans are like, yeah, this is what more or less that's what it is expected of you. It might not be fair,
Right.
but that's what it is. And he's lived up to the type and expectations for 19 years. And it's just if everyone around him would play better, this team would be in a much better place.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Because
And
he's like the only one of the few guys you cannot criticize
we
on this team.
insanely well, you know what I mean. I'm guilty of this. I'm ready to put him on a boat and ship him out when the team's not playing well. And but you know what? It's equal across the board. You know, Malkin and Letang and everybody. I'm ready for them to go. But I got to tell you, once Marc-Andre Fleury left, you then start to see those things that you don't realize when they are here. So I do understand that if any of these guys did go, I would totally feel the same way because I got to tell you, Mike, I would take Marc-Andre Fleury back in a heartbeat. You know, people say, well,
Yep.
look at his age. Well, guess what? Look at Sidney Crosby's age and look what he's doing.
Yeah.
And at this point in his career, Marc-Andre Fleury is the second best goalie that's ever played in the NHL. So why wouldn't you? I would take him back in a heartbeat.
I'd take him, especially the way Jari's been playing.
Yeah.
It's so inconsistent. I'd rather have Fleury. And like Fleury, like he was read an article where beginning of this year, he was kind of, you know what, this might be it, my last year retiring. And he's like, you know what, the way I've been playing throughout the year, I feel a lot better. He's like, I'm coming back for probably at least 2 more years.
Fleury said this.
Yeah, he wants to keep playing.
He had to just do like Brodeur. Remember, Brodeur played till he was about 100,
Yeah, you just
and
keep playing, keep racking up wins.
that's, you look and you say, well, look how much better he did. Well, that's because he played 20 additional years to
Hmm.
the long career that Marc-Andre Fleury played. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
Fleury would just keep continuing to play as Brodeur did,
Yeah, and Brodeur played in that New Jersey system where, all they did was trap.
right,
And so
he
he had
couldn't
like every you barely.
face any shots.
Yeah, you. Whereas Flurry, most of his wins came in Pittsburgh, where it was good luck.
Right. Uh,
You're on your own.
Mike, I'm going to touch the gridiron for just a moment. Uh, the draft is in 23 days. If anybody's counting down, I know Mike is.
I am.
How's your stomach holding up?
It's great. I'm locked in.
All right.
I'm ready to
23
stop
days.
watch it.
So Derpy's gonna
I hate you guys.
time the
I
whole
hate
thing.
you both. I hate you.
And I love that idea, Derpy. Way to stay on top of things, man. I love it. 23 days from the draft, guys. One Steeler note that I do have here. I saw a report that said Russell Wilson and Patrick Queen named to the list of most likely free agent busts. One possibly, the other no chance in hell. I don't
Yeah.
think Patrick Queen turns out to be a bust in any way,
No.
shape, or form because he has such a good defense around him. He's going to be able to do what he does and
Yeah.
do it very well. I don't think there's any way that Patrick Queen becomes a bust.
Mm-mm.
Maybe Russell Wilson, but a lot of things have to happen for that to be
Yeah.
for him to become
Well,
a bust. A
like
bust.
Russell Wilson could put up the same numbers last year, this year that he did in Denver, and that would be a huge improvement over the quarterback play we had this year. But people would still say it was a bust.
Right.
Over 3,500 yards, 20 some odd touchdowns, 10 picks. I would take that here in Pittsburgh. That would make our offense
Absolutely.
so much more deadly.
We were 10-7 when we couldn't get
We
a touchdown.
couldn't. Yeah, I think we
We
threw
went
like
to the
what 12.
playoffs with
Yeah.
just a fraction of what Russell Wilson did. So as you said, Mike, if he comes here,
Yeah.
puts up 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, whatever it was, we'll be
Yeah,
way better off,
It would
right?
be way better, and people would still say, "Oh, he was terrible this year."
Yeah. So there you go, guys. 3 weeks and 2 days till the NFL draft.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And now it's taken forever to get here. The closer the draft gets, the longer it takes. I hate it.
One other note around the NFL, former cornerback Vontae Davis, 35 years old, found dead at his Florida home yesterday. Man, he was one of the guys that retired early. I think if I'm not mistaken.
He retired at halftime.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was the one
Buffalo.
I don't. Yeah, he's like I don't have it anymore, and yeah.
So there you go.
I saw that. I was like, out of the blue.
Also, one more thing in football, the Pittsburgh Passion. The Passion start on May 4th, guys. If you want to go check out the Passion, it is a home game. It's May 4th against the DC Divas, and that's a 6 o'clock game. That will be at Pine Richland. Of course, they used to play they would play at West Allegheny. Now this game will be at Pine Richland. Keep that in mind. Mark it on your calendar, guys. Pittsburgh Passion versus the DC Divas, May 4th, 6 p.m. at Pine Richland High School.
Check them out.
Check them out.
Check them out.
Let's talk about this college basketball game a little bit last night. So basically, you had 2 games last night. We talked about yesterday,
Yes.
Iowa, number 1 Iowa versus number 3 LSU, and number 3 NC State versus number 1 USC. No. Is that who played? UConn. I'm sorry. Number 3 UConn versus number 1 USC. I'll tell you what I'm looking at here in a second.
Yeah. You're looking at the.
So the first game, the one that everybody everybody was interested in. Well, check this out. For starters, a ticket to get into the game last night to see Iowa play, Iowa and LSU, was $176.
Ooh.
The games in Albany were $26. So they got to take, in my opinion, Mike, as we say a lot on the show, you got to make these two like I don't know, rivals. You really got to put that into people's head, paint that picture.
Yeah.
I just think that they could do so much with this, and it could bring attention to the WNBA and bring some much needed media and attention. And But anyway, Iowa and LSU go at it. I did watch this game. It was a pretty amazing game. I'm going to be honest with you. Iowa comes out, they take the lead early. Then you know what? It looked like LSU turned it around, and
Yeah.
as halftime approached, they pulled away. They went on like on a 10-0 run, and then they were up about 5 at halftime. And then Iowa comes out and they just start hitting threes, and
Yeah.
LSU, and then Angel Reese gets she gets hurt. She rolls her ankle, and then comes back in, and then she fouls. The game had everything. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest with you. This game literally had everything.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did notice about these two teams, they play very good basketball. I
Hmm.
mean, you just their games. I mean, it is no surprise and no accident that these two teams are where they are right now. Kind of unfortunate they couldn't face each other in the finals.
Yeah.
However, there's other good teams out there that's going to make it interesting as well. But as far as the the hero and the villain uh conversation storyline with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, that's over. LSU is done. They got their rematch game
Yeah.
and they won it. Caitlin Clark, she finishes with 41 points. Now here's the thing that gets me. This is a really good LSU team. I mean, really good. They're really athletic. They're really good. And Iowa puts up 94 points, almost 100. Caitlin Clark scores 41. She gets 7 bounds, 12 assists. She had 9 threes, which ties the NCAA tournament record in this revenge game and beats LSU. Mike, that tells me that this team is going to be prepared and ready to play whoever's put out in front of them
Yeah.
because this is a team that beat you last year. This is a team that they came out, they beat you,
Yeah.
and they were able to come back and, as I said, almost score 100 points against a team that plays really good, and in the defense and the way they're all over the place, and they're the rebounding, their offensive boards. This LSU girls basketball team, women, I'm sorry, it blew me away. I'm blown away by watching this basketball game on how freaking good these women are, Mike.
It was a really good game, and I was just surprised. Like they had no answer for Caitlin Clark. Like I don't know what the defensive strategy was for Caitlin Clark. You think you would put two people on her? No, let's just leave what they left her single, like one on one, like the whole time. It felt like I don't understand the strategy there. But uh, she's one of those players. Like even if you do double team her, she's going to find a way to beat you. So,
Right.
but it was just a good game. Like I didn't get a chance to watch the whole game because I'd be up, before the butt crack of dawn. But like the highlights I were able to watch, the long clips I was able to watch, like Ryan said, it was a really good basketball game, really intense basketball game. And these two teams, I wish they would have met in the finals.
It really puts me in mind.
Caitlin Clark and the Pips.
It really puts me in mind of the Lakers and Celtics in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Magic and Bird.
Puts you in
Magic
mind
Bird from
of
yeah,
Magic and Bird, and in so many ways. Again, you're watching this Iowa team, and these girls aren't bad. I mean, without
yeah.
Caitlin Clark, this team is not where it's at, obviously.
No,
But
Mm-mm.
you know what? As I said, she had 12, a dozen assists, and she's dumping it off to these other girls that you don't really know who they are, but they're making the play. They're not underneath the basket missing these layups.
yeah,
This is a solid team. Uh, Guys, the Final Four. That concluded the Elite Eight last night. Let me touch on the other one real quick, then we'll get into the Final Four. UConn and USC was another big matchup. I didn't watch this whole thing. I kept an eye on it. However, number 3 UConn 80, number 1 USC 73.
Ooh.
So the winner of this game, UConn, goes on to play Iowa.
yep,
And then the winner of that goes on to play the winner of South Carolina and NC State, which are both of these games are 1-3 matchups. Number 1 being South Carolina, 3 being NC State, and on the other side of the bracket, number 1 being Iowa, number 3 being UConn. These UConn teams, you got to watch these UConn teams. I went through this in the early 2000s. When they get going, they're hard to stop.
yep,
UConn teams are so freaking hard to stop, and it gets old fast. I don't know
yeah,
what it is about them, but I'm already getting tired of them.
Is Gino Ariema still coaching the women's basketball team?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he's gonna. I think he because I don't know what what's her name Mulkey down in LSU was thinking, trying to like draw the defense up against Iowa and Caitlin Clark. I thought she would do a better job for how long she's coached, but I think Gino's gonna have a might have going to try something to try and slow down Caitlin Clark. That's going to be interesting to see if she can't score, how well is she going to be able to distribute? You saw, she had like what 12 dimes last night. So maybe she might have to like this one. Let's see if she can, if they try and double her. Can she revert to being a better passer than a scorer?
But
That's
they
what I want to
did.
see.
That's
Yeah,
what LSU did. They made her pass, and guess what?
and she
Other
still,
girls,
had to just throw up 40 points.
and
See,
I gotta,
she was cutting into the lane. She was making some of these unbelievable plays. She
I gotta
she was
tell
on a
you,
different level last
both of
night.
these teams had some good-looking girls.
Oh Jesus!
I'm watching this game last night, and I thought, geez, oh man, almost every girl on the court is hot to some
Oh my
capacity.
god!
You
Oh
know,
my god!
Final Four starts Friday for the women. Of course, again, that's UConn versus Iowa, NC State versus South Carolina. Mike, talk about this NC State South Carolina game a little bit. These NC State teams are red hot right now. There's P's team, South Carolina, the team that everybody talked about all year. They said it's going to be South Carolina and LSU. That's not the case. Mike, do you like this matchup? The NC State South Carolina Gamecocks.
I think South Carolina's just going to roll.
I
My
think they're going
god!
to dominate.
Yeah, they're what 36-0. They're just steamrolling people. They're just like a well-oiled machine. Um, yeah, I think they're going to end up winning it all. It's the way they're playing. They're like no one's been able to slow them down.
Well, that's going to take me back to a question Brian had earlier on the board here. And I pushed it back a minute because I was getting here.
Yeah, I saw it coming
Do
up.
any of you three think Iowa can beat South Carolina? Mike, what do you think?
Uh, I don't think so. I like Caitlin might have to have like a Kobe S game, score 50.
Oh, she got
Right.
41 against
She got
LSU.
40, yeah, 40-41, but she's gonna have to have the game of her life. And I just think that South Carolina team is just deep. They got players all over the place.
There's only been one time that we've seen Caitlin Clark, who's coincidentally built like Crash Bandicoot. Tell me I'm wrong.
I hate you.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I hate you.
But there's
Oh
only
my
been one
God.
time that Caitlin Clark has failed, and that was that game last year against LSU with Angel Reese in the ring and the whole thing.
Yeah.
She finds ways to win, Mike.
Yeah.
And that's why I think yes. My answer, Brian, is yes. I think that Iowa can beat them. Do I think they will? I don't know. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with
they still got to get
UConn,
through UConn.
and then see what let's see how things play. But I
Yeah.
do think that she in Iowa can beat
Yeah.
South Carolina. Mike says no.
I
Derpy,
think it's going to be tough.
Derpy, what do you think?
I-
Iowa, do they stand a chance? Can they win against South Carolina if that be the matchup?
It's possible, but I just think South Carolina is too deep,
Okay,
as Mike said.
that's fair. And probably my lack of seeing South Carolina play, I don't have extensive knowledge of this team. But again, I say the only thing that I'm going by is, guys, I just know that this girl finds a way to get it done.
Yeah.
And all she needs is a half of a foot to be able to shoot the basketball, and she can make it anywhere on the court.
Yeah, if she starts off hot and just can keep hitting those threes and keep getting open the way she was last night, the way she has been the whole tournament, more or less all year too, she can make it a close game. She is the equalizer. This Iowa team isn't that deep, and she's more or less dragging them, dragged them to the Final Four. I don't want to like discredit the other women on that team, but when you have someone this good, she is that team. Everyone else is just a good supporting player.
Right.
But they're doing what they need to do. The one girl had like 20 some odd points going in, the other guard. So she was pulling her weight, and everyone else, was doing their job on the boards too. So I just know. I don't know, man. That South Carolina team, when you get a team like that, it's just well oiled, rolling through, they're going to be tough to stop.
Absolutely.
They're going to make her teammates work. They're gonna make her teammates work more than
Yeah, they
Caitlin.
are. They're gonna if Iowa beats us, it's gonna be because the rest of the team
Mm-hmm.
gets gets the job done. They're gonna figure that Caitlin Clark's gonna put up 30 some points.
Yeah.
That's what she does. She gets that done every game. Make the rest of the team beat us. Guys, I do want to dip into this real quick, just because I think it's funny. Just because she was so big headed 2 days ago. She was so independent. She didn't need a man for anything. While things were going good, you couldn't say anything, anything to get inside of Angel Reese's head. Guys, listen to these comments after the game last night by Angel Reese. She goes on to say, after losing this game to Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes, excuse me, she says, I'm just trying to stay strong. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. All this happened since I won the national championship, and I haven't been happy since. Last week, she was on top of the world, Mike. She was so independent. She was such a strong-headed woman. Now, don't make fun of me. Don't tell them, cheer the other team won and we lost, because I have a lot of things going on in my life because nobody else does. And I don't know. What do you think this is, Mike?
No, I think she just answered the question that was asked to her, and that's what she has going on. That a lot of these athletes have stuff going on that people don't know about,
Like
that they're
everybody,
dealing with behind the
8
scenes.
billion people have things going on in their life.
Yeah, and that doesn't
My
diminish
my
that doesn't
my
diminish what you have going on. It doesn't diminish what she
no.
has going on.
My
But
point be
it
this:
affects her.
why now, when we could all go, yeah, Caitlin Clark got the revenge game. You lost against Caitlin Clark. Now I'm going to start bringing out the things that I want you to feel bad because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Is the way this comes to me.
Angel Reese is not what's wrong with society.
I'm not
Brian.
saying
Right.
No,
by
no,
any
that's what
means.
Brian's saying on there. No,
Oh, okay.
no, I don't get the hate for Angel Reese at all. I
I
don't
like her,
understand it. I like her too.
but I just think that this was, I think that she's taking things outside of basketball and bringing them to the forefront because she wants people to just shut up and she doesn't want to hear about losing this basketball
Yeah,
game. That's just my opinion. But
could be, but
again, these weren't issues 2 weeks ago, 3 days ago, when she was on top of the world. I'm Miss Independent. I don't need a man. She was a whole different person. Now it's like, oh, look at me. I'm having bad. That's all I'm saying. I think that she
I don't
brought
know.
this to the forefront because they lost this basketball game, and
Salty.
that's my stance.
I don't
Uh,
know. I like her. I still
I
love her.
never said once that I didn't like her. I
No,
do
no,
like
I
her.
know you didn't. I know. Yeah, you talked off air about like how her and Caitlin Clark are great for the sport, great for women's basketball. Their rivalry, like you said, should be talked about, like kind of like Bird and Magic.
You think she's hot, Mike?
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, let me go on touch into the Hounds briefly. Mike, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they are back in action Saturday at home at 7 o'clock. They host the Tampa Bay Rowdies at Highmark Stadium. Get down there. They have some kind of night. I don't know what it is, some kind of festive night or thing going on, promotion. If you want to get down there to support these Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Saturday, guys, 7 o'clock, back in action against the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
The Hounds.
Mike, why don't you tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinjers.com. Over there, we got our social media links. We got the merch store, and we got the blog. Like I said yesterday, if you didn't catch the show, there's a new one up about the Buccos. I think it was about Jared Jones. I had one up about Jared Jones and his masterful debut in the MLB. One of the best debuts I've seen in a long time, especially for a Pirate pitcher. Check it out, the2dumbyinjers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. A lot of good stuff over there. Mike does a very good job. www.the2dumbyinzers.com. Today's question, guys, is going to be tied into the Pirates being undefeated.
Ooh.
So, guys on the board, participate as well. Derp, you put your thinking cap on. Here we go. The question of the day is this: who has the longest winning streak to start a season in Major League Baseball? Now, what I'm going to do for you guys is, because it can somewhat be skewed once you get back so far in records, and I looked into this, and here's what it plays out. We're going to go in the modern era, which is 1955 to now.
Okay.
So this can make it a little bit easier for you. So in the modern era of the major leagues, The question of the day is who has the longest winning streak to start a season? It's one of the teams that are still out there. It's nobody that came and went. It's not the Washington Senators, nothing like this.
That's what I was going to say. It's the Senators.
So take a minute, think this over, guys. The question is who has the longest winning streak to start an MLB seasons in the modern era since 1955? Think that over, guys. We are live. We're live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The show that we do live, brand new every day, we take and we upload it in podcast form over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. Maybe you don't get a chance to watch this. Maybe you just rather listen to the show. Maybe you're at the gym. Maybe you're in the car. Whatever the case may be, you can go to Spotify, listen to the brand new show every day at 8 o'clock p.m. Go check it out. All right, guys. The question of the day is this: in modern era, who has the longest winning streak to start a Major League Baseball season? I'm looking for a team. P on the board says the Atlanta Braves.
Ooh.
Mike, I'm going to start with you today. I started with Derpy yesterday. Mike, which team has the longest streak to start a season? You don't have to tell me how many.
Let's go with Boston.
Boston, the Red Sox?
Red Sox.
All right. Mike says the Red Sox. Derpy, who has the longest winning streak to start a season in the modern era in the Major League Baseball League? Mike says the Red Sox. P on the board says Atlanta. Two very good picks. I may have picked one of them myself if I was sitting where you're sitting. But I ask you, Derpy, which Major League Baseball team has the longest winning streak to start a season? Pirates are 5-0. Which team has the longest?
Give me the Bankies.
The Yankees. Three good picks. Three good picks.
Which be like the Marlins or something.
Yeah, that's what P just put up on the board. Watch it be one of them stacked early Marlins team, which I wouldn't doubt either. But Derpy says the Yankees. Mike says the Red Sox. P says the Braves. Guys, the question is, who has the longest win streak to start a season in the majors in modern era? Last year, the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow.
13
that's right.
Wow.
and 0.
That's right.
I forgot they had a nice run.
13 and 0. The only reason that there was a team better than us in April last year was because this team went 13 and 0 to start.
No.
Guys, the Tampa Bay Rays. It's impressive, man.
That is.
I mean, just everything you go through in one game, just to come up with a win on a level of professional ball players where everybody's that's amazing. So there it is, 13 games, guys. Pirates are almost kind of sort of halfway there at 5, but we'll see how the rest of this week goes. Mike, anything before we get ready to take off?
Yeah, real quick. I saw this reading the
and you haven't had to run off to the bathroom. I find this is most impressive.
Imodium, baby. Imodium.
I really wanted to stopwatch you.
Oh, I got something here. Dan Moore was among the top 25 NFL players who were compensated from the league fund for pay players who are largely low earning by NFL standards. He earned an additional $740,319 for his play last year.
Oh, that's good.
So as much as Steelers fans and like the analytics want to crap all over him, the NFL by and large said he outperformed his contract.
There you go.
So it's like who to believe, who not to believe. But Dan Moore, he got that bread.
You know who I believe, Derpy? I believe you. What do you got?
Well, another day closer to the draft. Draft a stinking center.
All right. I got to say this. On April is the weekend of the draft. If you do want to get out that weekend, Yinzer Fest is back. Yinzer Fest, that's right, is at David Lawrence Convention Center. There's going to be live music, comedy, sports legends, local chefs, Yinzer Market, and more. So if you are a Yinzer, or if you're just curious on what goes on in a world of Yinzers, get down to the David Lawrence Convention Center between April 25th and 28th for Yinzer Fest, Mike.
Yinzer Fest.
Yinzer Fest.
Drink some Iron City and probably eat some
pierogies,
some stuffed cabbage, some stuffed peppers. That's like
French fries all over everything.
Yes, French fries on everything because that's what us Yinzers do.
That's right. It's not a stereotype. We literally
it's not. It is so damn true.
But I do want to thank everybody for checking us
Yes.
out, coming to hang out with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. We really do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. We want to thank everybody on the board. You guys certainly always keep things interesting. Mike, Derpy, anything else before we go?
I
Speak
got
now.
nothing. I got nothing. Dan Moore Jr. is underpaid, apparently, according to the NFL.
All right, Derpy, anything else, man?
Slow news day.
Yeah, it is kind of, well,
Slow news
tomorrow.
day.
Tomorrow's going to be slower because there's no Pirates today. The Penguins played last night. The
And
girls,
there's
women's basketball's done for a couple days. So, we had a lot of good stuff to talk about today.
yeah, we did.
Tomorrow, all the good stories we'll be digging. But you know what? It was fun. So I do believe that's it, guys. Anything else?
I got nothing, man.
All right. For Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, for Derpy, myself, the two Dom Yinzers, everybody have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.